Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race. Riders are getting underway out onto the course right now in the A and the B categories that we'll be covering today. So we're going to get right into the action, as it is going to be 4 laps of the Hilly Watopia for today for the A's and the B category. It does look like the A racers have jumped over the top of the forward Watopia climb already, actually, and we do have, it looks like, Hey Augustin right along with Sigma Sport actually here riding. It looks like actually Zwift employee here hammering away out of the UK up toward the front. It looks like we do have Szerzynski right along with Richardson and A-Locks. If you're new to Zwift racing, the riders out here today are doing I did jump into an event right from the get-go here when they jumped into the game, and we do have, it looks like, I believe there were at least 15, maybe 16, it might be even more riders than that jumped into here, but we do have a lead group of at least 17 in the A category. There were well over 100 registrants, but there are 4 different events that are going on at once right now. All the riders that we're looking at right now are a part of the A category out here today. The riders that are in the next, let's see here really quick here, in the other group, the B category, will be doing, it looks like, 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram. So all riders in the A category will be doing 4.0 or more watts per kilogram. That is the assumption today for the category that we are looking at right now. In the B category, it will be 3.2 to 4.0. And it actually looks like we had an update to the world of Zwift. As you can see up at the top, watching G. Richardson here, innovation, it looks like there has been an addition with this update that you guys most likely had to download recently into your computers, all you Zwifters out there. You can see there's been quite a change actually to the group riders nearby too. It looks like it does click in a little bit quicker actually for each one that you were watching, and then there's been a little bit of change to the look of it as well, as you can see here on the right hand side of the course. Also the watts per kilogram, as well as the little power symbol next to it, has changed its position. So a lot of different changes, it looks like, with the recent update to Zwift. As you guys can see, a little bit of a change to the UI and a couple of upgrades, it looks like here. So we do have a large group that has gotten all back together though in this A category. There was a little bit of break with Szerzynski and Webb getting off the front, but it will be Cartwright, it looks like, with Webb, Richardson, Rasmussen, Klein, Augustin, all in this lead group. Up above us you can see who has made the top 10 so far through the last checkpoint, with Locks, Augustin, Rasmussen, Szerzynski, Haselstead, Richardson, Webb, TM from the WBR team, as well as Addington and Tim Cartwright. There are teams in Zwift, and as you can see here, a little highlight here of Mr. Tim Cartwright from the KISS racing team, the KRT team that does have their jersey in game. We also have, it looks like, that has made this front group, Team Experimental, I believe, is in there. I thought we saw an X kit there for a second. Yeah, well, the old X kit, so just an Alienware kit. It's actually Innovation Cycles that have adopted that now. So Innovation, now the newest team that has actually jumped out onto Zwift now, and as you can see, they've been using this Alienware kit. The new Team Experimental kit has a kind of similar look, but it is an update that they took that kit and kind of made it their own, with a black alien head as well as some green going out from it. So not to get those confused out there. We do have, it looks like, Szerzynski now from Team Poland. They've been riding that Gamba kit that does hold their country colors, as you can see here. So Szerzynski now making this lead group as well, halfway into their first of 4 laps. Hilly Watopia forward. It does look like Vision Cycling has made it as well, with Webb, and let's see, I think Locks has made it in there as well. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the B category, as they're just making their way over the top of the forward climb. I believe we've got Escomo here out of the USA leading these boys out in the B category. And I believe we will have the results here from ZwiftPower.com up above us, just updating. So it looks like See How right along with Hinton, Gunther, Como, McGlue, Curtis, Yager, a bunch of numbers, followed by Pete Campbell and Carlson, have all made this front group here in the B category today. So about 6 seconds back or so, we do see it looks like Vuko Manovic out of the UK here trying to chase these boys down. 177 beats per minute, absolutely demolishing himself here to try and hang on 300 watts or so. Innovation now also making this group here in. Then as you can see here, they're all in that Alienware kit. 3 Innovation boys, it looks like here. 1, 2, 3. We'll try to see if we can get their names as we need to get familiar with a lot of them. McGlue, that's one I do know. Hinton in there as well out of New Zealand. And then it looks like we do have a Tough as well coming from Innovation, about 15 seconds back from this group. Up toward the front though, we do have one WBR boy, McGlue actually racing for the WBR as you can see here. And then we got Campbell saying that there's somebody who's 14, is that correct, in the group here? It does look like they did change the size of the ride-on buttons as well, Zwift. So pretty cool updates that we can see coming from Zwift in this latest update that just got thrown down. B. Christensen up toward the front. It looks like that's who we were looking for. That's the name that we were looking for. Christensen here from Innovation Cycles as well, coming out of the US of A. And it looks like Jay Rich from the KRT has made this lead group as well. So we do have a lead group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 13 or 14 riders with a chase group of, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so off the back now, with A Tough from Innovation leading it out along with Vuko Manovic, Pete Chong, as well as King in there as well from CocoWhip.com AU coming out of Australia. We do have the social media social media integration here. So if you guys have any questions or anything, make sure to shoot them at Z Community Live, over on Twitter. I can also see your comments over on the Facebook. Serdar Gazgan says, super motivation, right on, Swiss guys. Karen Hepworth is saying, rolling soon. Yeah, so we're going right now. We're sorry about the little bit of a hold up at the beginning there. We just had a couple of things to get going, so we got all of the feeds coming in. Thanks a lot, Z Community Live, for the tweet out there. Really appreciate it very much. Over on Twitter. If you want a quick little example of how you can shoot your tweets at us, real quick here, I'll bring this in. And as you can see here, check out at Kiss Road Race Arch. Nice additions to the promoter. So as you can see here, at Z Community Live, not at Zwift Community Live. Make sure to take Zwift in there as well. So if you go ahead and do that, we can bring you guys right on in to the broadcast. So it looks like in the B category, we do have Coco Whip now falling off the back, actually. He was with the leaders, but is now leading out the chase group right now with about 6 or so. If you look over the shoulder, you can see that they're just trying to hang on, actually. As Pete Chong opens up about 1 second in this B category. It does look like Vuko Manovic along with Jay Kiff just trying to hang on 166 beats per minute. Now, again, these boys in the B category, 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram is their assumed threshold. And so with the assumed threshold of that, you can see that these guys are definitely pushing their threshold or more right now just to try and get back on terms with that front group. It's only about 11 seconds, and with 4 laps of the Watopia forward, it's definitely closable in this B category right now as Coco Whip goes back to the front, 4.1 watts per kilogram out of Australia here on the Go-Go Power Rangers, actually, on Z-Power it looks like. So there's going to be a little bit of a bust at the front there, as you can see. Now moving forward, we can see it is going to be B. Curtis here and Jay Rich leading things out as they head into the Essies. Back at the front of the race, we do have, it looks like, No more gaps have been opened up. It is kind of Grupo Compacto at the front of the A race, at the front of the A race. As you can see here, it is going to be A Webb leading things out 5.1 watts per kilogram or so. Just kind of positioning himself, it looks like, prior to the climb. He was sitting in for a second there before they came through this section of the course. But 1 second gap back to the Sigma Sport. Just trying to hang on. 5.1 coming from him real quick to get back onto the wheels. Cartwright here at the back, 3.9 watts per kilogram, 5.4, now 140 as well. These boys are, they're fluctuating between that 3.0 to 4.0 or so over and over again, just waiting for the moment to attack up and over the top of the climb. Cartwright going super early here. This is a little bit of an uphill gradient actually prior to the climb, and it looks like he's trying to make the climb a little bit longer than usual in order to try and get a gap. This is a really early attack actually, only second time up and over the top of the forward Watopia actually. They're going to have still 2 laps to go after this lap, so about a little less than 3 total laps to go actually out here today. Strzezinski follows very closely right along with Webb, as you can see here, and it is going to be the 2 Vision boys quickly covering the attack of Strzezinski and Cartwright. A little ways back we do have, it looks like, Richardson from Innovation trying to hang on, 172 beats per minute, but the gap is going out. We can look at Cartwright here from his perspective. Richardson 4 meters back now at this point, 10 meters now back to the next chasers out, which are going to be containing Rasmussen, Hazelstead, both coming out of Norway there. And it looks like now there seems to be an update in the KOM climb here, perhaps, as I believe this is telling you, now you see it's coming in and coming out, coming in and coming out. I wonder if it's telling you if maybe these riders are going to hold on to it with the current wattage they're putting out up and over the top here. That's interesting if that's what it's given us there. As you can see, it's coming back and forth between a few of the riders here. Rasmussen now 6.4 watts per kilogram, trying to chase those boys down at the front, but Cartwright continues here out of the UK, 7.1 watts per kilogram, was the initial instigator of this climb to make this break, and it's gone out to 7 seconds already to the rest of the chasers. It looks like we will have a lead group forming here with Cartwright, Strzezinski, Locks, and Webb. One last little kick coming from Webb here as they make their way over the top. Innovation almost back on terms. Richardson's there 1 second back now, and we're going to see what this lead group forms as they climb up and over the top. We do see an aero power up coming from Locks there. That is really going to put the nail in the coffin for any chasers, as if anybody gets back on his wheel and he has any continuance over the top there, that aero power up is going to really bring up the speed. 32 miles per hour now, you can see here up at the top of the screen. I wonder if the update brought in the U key again. No, it did not. So we're going to stay on silly American metrics here, as you can see, but at Imperial, on the Imperial metrics. Anyways, but Cartwright here now 6.9 watts per kilogram, continuing to turn the screws at the front, maybe trying to get Webb to drop off the back here, as he knows that Webb is one of the main instigators that he's going to have to deal with throughout the race here. Richardson now trying to get back on terms, drags Webb right back up to this lead group, and it is going to be a lead group of 5 as Rasmussen is back here with Hazelstead as well as Noon trying to chase those boys down. But this is going to be the main chase group now, it looks like. Second chase group out here, 1, 2, 3, Rasmussen with K. Augustin now 5 seconds back in no man's land. Going to be in the race of truth now, the Kiwi here, 164 beats per minute. And Hug with Innovation, the other Innovation rider here, looks like Adlington now with also Rue Riders 1 second back from them. So Strzezinski here back at the front, 177 beats per minute. That is the situation at the front of the race in the A category. Back to the B category now. They just came through for their lap. And if we go ahead and look back here, we can see that it is going to be Coco Whip back at the front. It pulled them back in. It was only 11 seconds. It looks like Coco Whip here has pulled the entire group back in on the Go-Go Power Rangers at 134 beats per minute. Again, Z Power is unable to win categories, just so you guys know out there. So he'll get a great workout out there today, but he most likely will have a relegation in the race today. And Tom Bovere saying, I did the ZTR race on Tuesday, so it's fun to see it at this point of view. Thanks a lot for your comment, Tom. Good to see you at the Facebook. If you guys have any questions at all, I can see all your questions at the Facebook feed. feed, as well as at Z Community Live on Twitter. Any questions at all that you'd like to have answered about racing out on Zwift, events on Zwift, I should be able to bring you information on especially anything racing. Would love to answer any of your questions. If you'd like to jump into a race out on Zwift, it's really easy. When you jump in, when you load into Zwift and you get past the pairing screen, on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll be able to see all of the events that are coming up, and a lot of them will say whether or not they're a race, and they'll also have categories a lot of times, or if they just have an E there by the event, you just select the E icon on there, and that means it's for everyone. It's a mass start then. Everyone starts together. If it has categories A, B, C, or D, then you can jump into those, and it's going to be A is functional threshold power, what you can do for 1 hour, 3.2, A is 4.0 or more. For B, it's going to be 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram. For the C category, it is going to be 2.5 to 3.2 watts per kilogram. And for the D category, it is going to be 2.5 or less. So there is racing for everyone out on Zwift with people of your ability to race against and to push yourselves against out on course. So definitely available for all people. And yes, it is forward today. Watopia forward today for 4 laps. Tim to win. Go, go, go. Kev Steven is saying at Z Community Live. So we do have some people starting to cheer a little bit for their favorite, it looks like favorite riders. Kev Steven is saying Tim Cartwright for the win today. And for some reason, our social media, I'm going to have to see what's going on with our social media integration, make sure that it's coming in here, and go ahead and grab that and make sure that you guys are able to bring that into our broadcast here, as I'm going to just go ahead and refresh the title, and you should be able to bring those in. But back to the A racers here now. As you can see, they're just coming up and over the top of the climb here with Szerzynski and Cartwright just coming. It's just there's a little bit of a climb right before the Italian village here, and they actually did a little bit of a kick to try and get away from the rest of the riders here as they're coming into the Italian village. There's just that little 5% uphill gradient after the bridge, and Webb here, seeing the threat, gets right back on terms with Cartwright and Szerzynski. Locks here 5.2 watts per kilogram, able to hang on as well. So the Vision Boys here are going to be playing the 1-2 up against Cartwright, Richardson, innovation here as well. 169 beats per minute coming from him. Webb, Szerzynski, Locks. Cartwright now 1 second back actually from Richardson, who goes right on by and maybe putting in a little bit of an attack now to try and stay away from these boys. But it looks like it's just kind of Gruppo Compacto now at this point. So looking over his shoulder here, you can see that there's this gap, and they're actually kind of sitting in thinking it's not going anywhere. And this might be one of those situations where everybody's been attacking so much that somebody who's waited and waited for the right moment can just kind of ride off the front at sub-threshold to threshold. 4.1 watts per kilogram here coming from G. Richardson. Webb now starting to bump it up a little bit, knowing that the Estes is coming, most likely ready to kick it again. 158 though coming from the Innovation Cycles boy here. He might be able to kick it up over the top of the Estes and hold these boys off with 2 seconds. But these are a couple of strongmen here. Webb, Cartwright, and Szerzynski. Locks as well. Going to be extremely difficult to hold those boys off. 6.4 watts per kilogram though here coming from Richardson. Maybe going to be able to do this here. 8.5 now, as we can see. Szerzynski now 2 seconds back is what the pack is. If he can match their effort here, 160 beats per minute. Szerzynski now, here comes the kick from the Polish rider, 9 watts per kilogram. Locks there following very closely on his wheel, right along with Webb and Cartwright, it looks like, able to hang on. Halselstead here, a part of the chase group. It looks like him and Rasmussen going to be able to hang on for this main chase now amongst the riders. Is that a female avatar, actually? Is S. Rasmussen absolutely hammering it out there? I am seeing a female avatar, I believe, a women's avatar. So able to hang on as a super fast A rider here. I'm going to make sure amongst the women's results here that we got that correct. Let's see if I can bring in the current results for the women here up above my head here and see how many are out on course. We've got Wade, Ingmo, and O'Neill. So not registering, maybe not registering actually as a women's avatar according to ZwiftPower.com. So we'll have to wait and see what the results say at the end of the day. Cartwright here with Richardson Straczynski locks now still through the Essies now. This is one of the only other moments out on course that you can really try and make a break. This succession of punchy little climbs, about 5% gradients each one of them. Locks just hanging on the back here, getting that advantage of that draft on Straczynski's wheels. They come through, and a lot of times you can use these punchers on the other side of them. You gain a lot of momentum on the downhill if you're holding onto the wheel and kick it past everybody on the uphill on the other side of the climb here. Now Cartwright going again here, 7.5 watts per kilogram with Straczynski 5.6, just trying to hang onto that wheel here. Richardson 3.0, Webb, and then we do have it looks like Locks all hanging in still. So nobody going anywhere just yet. It looks like at the front of the B race though, we're going to go back to Como as well as Coco Whip here, it looks like. And they're kicking through into the Italian Village here. 3.9 watts per kilogram, 3.7, 3.9. Hinton, it looks like 4.5 coming from Como there. He's going to need an A upgrade if he continues at that kind of a pace. As you can see, also B King 4.4, so a couple of A category like numbers here. They're going to get an upgrade, it looks like, today with those kind of attacks. It looks like McGlue and Innovation here, as well as Verhoeven, Cunningham, all able to get a little bit of a ride from a few racers for an upgrade today. But going through their second lap out here, just about to finish up, we do have a lead group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now, with about 5 seconds back to Carlson from Innovation Cycles. Libby Augustin saying, right on, Innovation Cycling, guys. And we're seeing Kieran Kirk saying, if people laugh out their weight or have high reading power meter, makes it easy to win. And that's why we have all the different categories laid out a lot of times. And I do know that there are some looking to start creating, there is Zada obviously, and Zada does check on a lot of the riders for those inconsistencies and definitely do a great job of relegating anybody who seems to not be matching in real life power numbers. If you put over 5.0 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race, you do get a little bit of a check on ZwiftPower.com, and then you are asked to submit strain gauge power meter files and numbers to show that you can reproduce that in real life. Those are pro-like numbers, putting out 5.0 watts per kilogram or more for a threshold. So that's the only places that things are really marked as. Below that, there are always people then within category limits from A, B, C, and D to ride against and ride with, actually, so that they don't usually check on those, as everybody's just looking for a great workout and a great experience in that workout with people around the same ability level. So that's really what it's all about, cycling made social out there. There are people, there are a few organizations, community organizations. Again, this is all community racing. Racing is all a community effort for sure, but there are definitely organizations out there looking to change up the rankings a little bit as well with results-based ranking. And results-based ranking will also kind of separate those things out as well as the Terminators, as I like to call them, those machines out there that are absolutely killing it. They will end up in a category of their own, and those who can hang on to the machines will just get stronger and turn into machines if they have correct power sources anyways. And so it definitely just pushes you that much harder to race against those who maybe have a little bit miscalibration, but definitely a lot of super strong riders out on course right now. It looks like in the B category, a few of them needing an upgrade today, but Como here attacking here 8.3 watts per kilogram in the B category, coming through the Essies, followed by Coco Whip. And both of these riders are definitely into that 4.4, 4.6 watts per kilogram, as you can see. And so they might be able to just ride off the front, and the other B category riders will be able to allow them to go most likely. We are back with the A category now, as you can see here with Cartwright, right along with Webb now, 13 watts per kilogram. Real quick here now, as well as Tim and Szerzynski and Locks. All of them now, it looks like through the third time on the climb here, trying to hang on with the rest of with these two at the front here, Cartwright and Webb, who are just attacking at 187 beats per minute. Cartwright now getting away just a little bit here. Webb now trying to hang on, but it's going to be Szerzynski and Locks. Locks not going to chase down his teammate. As we look at Szerzynski and Locks coming up and over the top here, they're going to let, it looks like Locks is going to let those boys go, not chase down his teammate, and make Szerzynski take the pole back to those boys now. 186 beats per minute coming from Szerzynski here now. 7.1 real quick, trying to get back on terms with them. Richardson with that arrow power up, comes out of nowhere, grabs the wheel, goes right on by, doesn't want those boys to come along with him now. As you can see, 9 meters is the gap from Richardson to the rest. He grabs on the Webb's wheel. Cartwright with some continuance, but now fades after that crazy attack. As you can see, it's going to be Cartwright, Richardson, Webb, Szerzynski almost back with these boys. Locks there, 163, Szerzynski 187, Webb, Cartwright, Richardson all back together. Cartwright almost made it happen, but it looks like it's all coming back together as the boys at the front who are attacking fade that effort just a little bit. And Cartwright now 5 seconds back. What happened? I think there was some sort of a dropout or something, unlike Tim. 4 seconds now is the gap, and they can see the earnest that's going to be coming for him to get back on terms with these boys. Cartwright usually never falls off from a group. Now Webb's off the back now at this point. Gonna have to close it now. Webb and Cartwright. This is a very unfamiliar situation. It looks like those three who were chasing had so much speed to take down into the on that downhill that they came flying right on by those boys. And now it's going to be up to Webb and Cartwright to hang on. 151 beats per minute here coming from Webb as he gets right on to that wheel now. Cartwright 175, 176. A quick little punch over the top of that climb. And now rests up a little bit as we look down from up here. Here's Cartwright right here. There's the group right in front of him. And it looks like he is going to be able to get right back onto those Vision Boys wheels. Richardson continues at the front, but now is caught. And it will be, again, a group of 5 with a lap and a half to go. A lap and a half to go of the 4 times over Watopia Hilly forward. And go INC. Richardson is awesome. Dominic Donald. Good to see you, Dominic Donald. It looks like we got a lot of innovation cycles, boys, both in the race as well as cheering in the... Wow! And now we got 1,000 watts from Cartwright trying to create some more instigation here from Tim. Another kick comes from him, 177 beats per minute on the downhill. Kind of a counterattack there from Tim Cartwright. Does not want anybody to stay with him now. As you can see, Locks here, 5.6 watts per kilogram, as well as Richardson, and then Webb. Szerzynski, 4.8. And Cartwright here now off the front by 2 seconds with that downhill attack. And being more of a ruler type, he definitely has the just raw power to try and stay away from these boys, but it looks like Richardson and Szerzynski and Webb and Locks are going to have none of it, and they're going to be working together really well as KRT does not have anybody else to work with here out on course. Haselstedt along with Rasmussen, it looks like to be the main chasers now. About 118 back, 119 back at the last checkpoint. It does look like Enhug and Addleton and TM from the WBR rounding out the top 10 so far. Now we're back with the B category here, just making their way up and over the top of the climb. For their third time over the climb. Como here, 5.8, along with McGlue from the WBR. We do see the other innovation boy here hanging in. It looks like fairly tough. It is going to be Carlson. It does look like a couple of BRT boys along with Carlson about 35 seconds back from the front. Hinton did make it, though, it looks like, the Kiwi here. 5.1 watts per kilogram, trying to hang on to Como's wheel. at the front of this race. So Innovation making the lead group as well as the chase group here with Curtis from the BRT right now as well. So it is going to be a lead group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders that make their way over this climb on the Watopia forward. Just 200 meters to go as Como is at the front again. No heart rate monitor though, so unable to take a win in this category. I believe you do need to have a heart rate monitor a lot of times in racing. They at least like to check and make sure that you have and a heart when you're putting out these kinds of efforts out on course. If you are ZADA approved, that means if you do over 5.0 watts per kilogram in a race and then you use a heart rate monitor 50% of the time, ZADA approved riders do have the ability, if you forgot your heart monitor, can't find it or whatever, they because of the approvals on your numbers, they do allow, it was written recently into ZwiftPower.com, I was told that you have to use it at least 50% of the time, but that is ZADA approved riders only. So anybody who's out here racing, if you're not ZADA approved, make sure you have a heart rate monitor on. And it's always a good thing to wear it either way, just so that there isn't this scrutiny that people like to play. So Como here, it looks like solid 144 beats per minute. Como now following up, and it looks like these guys are maybe going to let the over category boys go, who are putting out a solid A category effort. We do see Scott Cunningham right along with Hinton trying to chase it down, though. They're almost back with him, but it is going to be McClue out in no man's land with the race of truth. We do have an attack coming into this Esses here. Cartwright, 10.1 watts per kilogram with a serious sprint. Goes ahead and throws down that arrow power-up. I think he threw it down before he actually hit the climb. Looking for the double power-up RNG maybe, because you can grab a power-up every single time you come through a banner, the sprint banner, the KOM banner, the start-finish banner. You can grab a power-up. And Cartwright, I think, did throw that down right as he came through the banner, maybe looking for that double power up RNG so that he can throw it down again immediately after the attack. He does have a serious gap at this point. 7 seconds for Tim Cartwright is a huge gap. Webb now 10 seconds off the back with Locks and Richardson. Richardson trying to close it down. He's got Locks right on his wheel. Webb and Strzezinski, a lot of strong men here who still have a lap to go. Can Cartwright hold on? 13 seconds though has opened up immediately, and Webb seems to be struggling a little bit here today. 2.8 now, 3.0 watts per kilogram, 153 beats per minute, and we're going to go ahead and give him a ride on from encouragement as well as Strzezinski here. We are seeing Locks here now, see if they can make it back to Cartwright here. Cartwright, though, we already gave him a ride on here, and so now trying to just hang on to this 10-second gap as the boys are going to be working together at the front to chase down the KRT man. But Tim Cartwright now, 10 seconds with one lap to go. 10 seconds with one lap to go on this Hilly Watopia forward race today. And the KRT might be taking it for their team today in their race. We'll see if he can pull this off. 11 seconds continues to go out as Cartwright's at 182 beats per minute. And he just continues over threshold at this point, continues to try and break the wills of those behind him. And that's what it's all about when you're trying to make that break. You try and get a big enough gap that they can no longer go over their threshold, and you can just hold it, threshold to sub-threshold, once they are done making their pulls, done working together, or they just don't have anything left in the legs to make a pull. Webb here now fading to 2.7. You can see Richardson and Strzezinski, all of them, 3 watts per kilogram or so, and Cartwright's got that 11-second gap. He seems to have broken them at this point. As we look over the shoulder, there are the chasers. It's not a huge gap, but at 11 seconds, Cartwright might be able to hold this off all the way to the finish line. It's going to be another lap to go with 12 seconds, though. 12 seconds is all that's left. We do see Go Andy Hinton, King Kiwis at this time of the morning, Dominic Donald is saying. So cheering on a few of the riders, it looks like in the, I believe Hinton is in the B category. I'm just going to take a double check here real quick for you. We can bring in the results for the B category. Yep, Hinton currently sitting in, it looks like, 3rd place. out there today in that B category. It's about just a little ways back. Oh, actually at the front though. So now he's actually sitting at the front. He was with Cunningham, Como, and Coco Whip, it looks like. So is a part of this lead group of 4. So Hinton is in it for the win right now for Team Innovation. But he's going to have to hold off Scott Cunningham and S. Como as well as B. King. All of them have been putting out some serious watts out here. Hinton, though, at 4.0 watts per kilogram, going to be looking for an upgrade today, most likely into the A category with those kind of watts. Cartwright still off the front 8 seconds or so. He may be fading a little bit, and these boys, if they can work together, or maybe we're going to see Locks and Webb with a crazy attack up and over the top of the climb. I think that's why Cartwright got away, knowing that Webb has a kick, but maybe not the same kind of threshold effort, not the same kind of effort that Cartwright can throw down for a consistency over an entire lap. It's just going to be about a 12-minute effort or so for Cartwright at this point. 12 minutes of his life is all he's got to make this happen right now to take the win out here today. In the B category, we do see that Como has gotten away off the front now, though. Right before these boys head in, we're just going to go into the B category real quick here. As you can see, 4.8 watts per kilogram coming from Como, who is off the front of the B category. We'll be getting that upgrade, 4.6 watts per kilogram. So Cunningham, Hinton, as well as King. Just going to let him go 3 seconds now. And I'm not sure if I would chase that, knowing that he is going to get an upgrade if they are watching the broadcast. Cartwright now, 5.7 watts per kilogram. We are going to see probably more wattage coming from the chasers on this final time up and over the top of the climb. Richardson, Webb, as well as Trzynski and Locks, all putting out about 6 to 7 watts per kilogram. We're going to see what they got to the finish line or to the KOM banner. Usually we see it in the orange. I think these boys have gone super hard, though, over the top of the climb each one of these times. So definitely a little bit of fading here of the power that they can put out here. Cartwright, we can see the gap to the riders right behind him here. There they are. There's the chasers right there, right where my cursor is. It's only 4 seconds. Webb now trying to close that gap. Here we do see the blue, the Vision Blue bike and Kid here trying to chase down the darker blue of the KRT. Webb's got 8 watts per kilogram with another little kick trying to get the car right. He's trying to break, I think, the other riders behind him, Trzynski as well as Richardson, and not allow them to come right along with him. It does fade to 5 watts per kilogram, though, from Webb in this chase. Looking over the shoulder again here, let's go ahead and see what the gap is. We're going to see, I think, Webb just come into the camera in just a second. 200 meters to go. Can Cartwright hold him off? 187 beats per minute. This is some serious suffering going on now at this point. It looks like it's going to be Cartwright and Webb off the front with Trzynski, Locks, and Richardson now just trying to make the chase. It is going to be Webb now. 169 beats per minute. I'm pretty sure that's getting close to a max for him now at this point, as Cartwright is here 2.0. They're going to let him come back. I think both these boys just threw down everything they possibly had into those pedals just now. One last little kick after they faded for a second. Now kick again. Will there be continuance at this point? Do they care to hold off the boys who are chasing them down? Richardson, 5.1 watts per kilogram. Locks throwing down that drafting power up. As you can see, that reduces the watts he has to throw down in order to hang on to the wheel now. It is out to 7 seconds. Cartwright with continuance here. Webb now 1 second back, unable to hold on to the wheels. Cartwright goes again. Not sure Webb's going to be able to hold on to it now at this point. He does grab another 9 beats though back as they make their way up and over the top of the climb. Webb trying to hang on and unable, though. It's out to 11 meters. Will Cartwright be able to break him at this point and continue on? 182 beats per minute, though, over threshold still, I believe, for Cartwright, as he, I think, is right around a threshold of 176 to 177. I believe Max is at that high 180s to 190s or so. So Cartwright here going to have to really work to hold off Webb, though. Webb almost back with that wheel, but Cartwright still holding on to a 1 second gap. It's just fluctuating between that 10 and 15 meters or so. Looking over the shoulder, there is the gap, and Webb needs to close this now, or it is going to be curtains for him, I believe. Innovation, though, here comes Richardson, 6.7 watts per kilogram. He hasn't given up at this point, but he's pulling 2 other boys right along with him, and it looks like Trzynski hanging on with that drafting power of 185 beats per minute. Locks 156, just getting the advantage here, it looks like, hanging into the wheels. Strzezinski now kicks it again, 7.8, trying to get back to those boys up front. Cartwright and Webb back together. Now, if it all comes back together, what some dynamics in this racing. And today, Rick Noda saying, is this the break? This is the break in the A category right now. Webb, Cartwright now on the front, 3 seconds up from Locks and Richardson, and Strzezinski at this point just trying to hold on. Locks now with a kick into that 9 watts per kilogram real quick, trying to drop off those boys and not bring them right along with them, actually make it a 1-2 for Vision in the lead group. Cartwright now hanging with them as well. It looks like they're going to be able to drop off Richardson and Strzezinski. They're going to need to work together to hold those boys off now at this point, though, if they want a lead group of 3. Looks like it might come down to a sprint, though, as they're all coming back together. As Strzezinski and Richardson close the gap on the downhill. Strzezinski, 186, 187, man. This boy is putting everything into the pedals today to stay in the race. Cartwright now is going to have to rest it up, I believe. His heart rate starts to drop as you see him fading down to that 2.9 on the downhill. Very easy to hang in on the downhill sections of the course in the wheel. Just like in real life, when you've got those higher speeds on the downhill, very much easier to hang into the wheels. But now Webb and Cartwright, after those crazy attacks, are off the back. And now here goes Cartwright, though. It might have been a mistake there from Webb, actually, looking to allow his teammate to go off the front. So Cartwright attacks into a huge amount of wattage, goes flying right on by on this downhill section, takes all that speed into about 40 miles per hour or so. Webb now 40 as well. Cartwright continues now into this little uphill gradient into the bridge, 0.5% gradient. Does matter. It is a false flat now, so it does have a little incline. 181. Webb back on the wheel. Strzezinski 1 second back. The attacks are just left and right. This is the last half lap. This is for all of the chips now at this point, boys and girls. You got to throw down everything you got. You cannot hold up. When you throw down those attacks, there is no waiting up at this point because there's not a lot of landscape left to work with. All right, real quick, before we head into the S's for the final time with these boys, let's head on back to the B-boys as they head into their final climb up and over the top of the Watopia forward. Cunningham is here, 6.0 watts per kilogram with Hinton now 1 second back from him. He's going to have to close that gap right now or they're going to continue up and over the top and walk away. As we are seeing Cunningham here, 4.4 watts per kilogram. I think Cunningham is registering as the numbers there at the top at 3.8, 3.9 watts per kilogram, as you can see in the live results up above. For some reason, not sure why, but he is registering just as maybe he is the some sort of matrix coming through here. And we have found Neo, boys and girls. Scott Cunningham killing it here in the B category. 160 beats per minute, 389 watts right now. 4 seconds up. This is the attack for the win today, it looks like, in the B category. Looking over the shoulder, there is the gap to the chasers. They're just a little ways back. Here is Cunningham and Como, and I believe right here about 5 seconds back is going to be the Innovation Boy, and then about 5 seconds back from them is going to be the next chasers with Coco Whip, and then McClue here from Race WBR in no man's land trying to hold off the other Innovation rider, A Tough. So back at the front, though, it is going to be Como and Cunningham going to be battling it out for this B category win. Back to the front of the A's, though, as they head through the Italian Village now, it is going to be Webb now with Richardson, Strzezinski, and Locks. Cartwright all still together as they make their final time through the sprint section out on the Italian Village. Now, here's the thing. They're going to be looking for aero power-ups. Every single one of them are going to be wanting an aero power-up out there today. That is definitely the prized possession of anybody coming into a sprint. Aero power-up being the strongest, absolute strongest power up out on courses. It's a 30-second power up and reduces the drag on your avatar, so you just gain huge amounts of speed. Usually the best place to use it is right after the downhill going into the sprint section, as you have all that speed and you can gain even more actually right at the halfway point on that downhill. But Innovation now going super early, maybe not wanting to sprint. We does have a gap now, as you can see if we look at his first person point of view here. 8 meters. 8 meters there is no draft. Cartwright does grab right right into that draft, goes flying right on by at 6.7 watts per kilogram. Attack super early before they even hit the climb here. Does have a gap over Straczynski, and Webb wants this not to be a sprint, it looks like, as Locks now kicks it again here into the climb. 5.6% gradient, and they are feeling it looks like. 181 coming from Cartwright. Straczynski 179. I don't think this guy's heart rate's dropped under 180 for the entirety of this lap, and he continues here at the front here. 355, you can see 400 watts now. Cartwright kicking it again up over the top. Richardson hanging on, uses that feather power up. So coming from Webb there, we know that Webb does not have an arrow power up then, or any other power up, as we just saw that feather from him in order to hang on. Looks like Webb having a harder day than usual as he's up into the high heart rate for Mr. Adam Webb there. Now we do see Straczynski at the front here pulling things along. 182 beats per minute. Nobody able to rest up that heart rate. Innovation now 166. Cartwright 183. Locks here 166. Webb 159. All of them over 4 watts per kilogram for sure. And the poles coming in at 5+. Webb now makes way to the front, rests up those legs a little bit, looking for something more. A little bit more ATP, a little bit more of that nitrous oxide in the legs that we would call it. That's what the glucose, that's what the ATP is in those legs. It's going to be pounding away in those pedals in these sprints. It's all going to be all about the VO2 max, or the neuromuscular kick toward the finish lines. It is going to come into the finish as a sprint, I believe. Nobody's going to be able to get away at this point with just a few K to go, about a mile maybe to go to the line, maybe 2K at the most to the finish. I think maybe more like 1.5K to the finish now at this point, as they're going to come past the turnoff to the volcano, and it's going to be a heads-up sprint between Straczynski, Richardson, Cartwright, Locks, and Webb. Nobody was able to break anybody in this group. Attack after attack after attack, but now everybody's going to be looking for less than 4 watts per kilogram, I would think, in their pulling at this point as they try and rest up and set up for the sprint. Who's going to go first and who's got the power-ups? We saw already a power-up from Webb. Cartwright goes way early. Here comes a power-up now from Straczynski, a feather power-up actually, looking for as many watts per kilogram as he can get, but Cartwright goes with 10 watts per kilogram. Webb grabs right onto that wheel, actually fades a little bit, looking for a little bit of respite as Cartwright pulls him right down into this last 500 meters. Webb not having to do a whole lot. Cartwright can see it, so he rests up, but here's the barrel power-up. This is what we were talking about. Webb does not have one, and it will be Cartwright, I believe, to the line, unless somebody else from somewhere has an arrow power up as well with more draft. Cartwright till 10 watts per kilogram, 190 beats per minute, and it looks like it's going to be Cartwright, as I don't think Innovation Cycles has enough watts to give, and it's going to be Cartwright to the line. Innovation still coming, but it looks like Cartwright, followed by Richardson, and then Straczynski. Webb fades before the line. Nothing left to give, it looks like. So Webb going to be coming across the line. Usually the Vision Cycling boys able to pull it off in the sprints there, but it looks like Cartwright, Straczynski, and then an Innovation all able to get away today. What a sprint between those boys to the line. Back to the Bees though, as their race is just starting to heat up now into the Essies now, as we do have Como and Cunningham. King now 10 seconds back with Hinton. They're trying to chase them down for the top 3 position here through the Essies, as they're going to have any kind of kick, as though Como and Cunningham though off the front. And 4.7 though coming from Como. He's going to be getting an upgrade. Cunningham's right on that edge at 3.9. B King as well as Hinton. So it looks like maybe Cunningham getting the better of the rest of the B field with some solid smart drafting actually at 149 beats per minute here. 3.9 watts per kilogram. And Kev Stevens saying, send me my win dollars, Nathan, over at Zwift Community Live. Good to at Zwift Community Live over on Twitter. All right, sounds good. That was a good bet on Cartwright there for sure, Kev Stevens. So thanks a lot for your tweets. I really appreciate them. I'm going to see real quickly. For some reason, our social media integration was giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm going to just have to refresh the title, I believe, as it was not grabbing it. and we'll go ahead and get that set up for next time. But thanks a lot, everybody, for your comments. I really appreciate them. Innovation Cycles definitely with a solid effort out there. Diane Baker, I do see you over at the Facebook chat. Good to see you. And it looks like Zwift did ask, have you been racing? Just some short races. Diane says she made it in second in D category, getting a little better. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Good to hear that. And some padded shorts helps a lot. Definitely helps a ton. Helps a ton. And thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Kev Stevens. Appreciate your comments over at Twitter. Says, great job, Nathan. So Scott Cunningham and Como here, it looks like, bringing it to the line. Just coming through the sprint banner, maybe grabbing a power up or two out there today. We are waiting for a few more of the A category boards. Cartwright did grab the orange as well as the King of the Mountain out there today, so definitely a solid ride for Mr. Cartwright with some of the fastest times out there today. A lot of the C and the D category riders have finished up already. We do have a sprint here coming in from Hazelstead as well as Rasmussen. Rasmussen 1 second up from him, so this will be, I believe, for 6th and 7th out there today, and Rasmussen will be able to grab this next spot, followed by Hazelstead just behind them in the A category. That will be your 6th and 7th out there. A couple of Norwegian riders battling it out to the line. Wow, what an effort there from Rasmussen, grabbing the solid orange and King of the, I think grabbing the Queen of the Mountain there. I'm wondering if there's an avatar mix up there actually for Rasmussen, unless they're for some reason not registering as a woman through ZwiftPower.com. We'll have to wait and see what the final results show us, but solid effort regardless there. Escomo here, 3.1 watts per kilogram up at the front, though. Final time through the SEs. We'll be getting an upgrade, so we will be following Cunningham very closely for the win today in the B category. Hinton here trying to follow it up with 4.0 watts per kilogram right on the edge. Now drops to 3.9, so we'll be within category limits. It is 22 seconds to the line here. Cunningham's going to battle it out regardless of the upgrades, though, with Como, and it looks like it's going to be a heads-up sprint between the two of them to the line here today in this B category. Ricky White is wondering, what is the lowest category? D category is the lowest category. So for the categories, Ricky White, it is going to be A category riders. The assumption is that you can hold 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher. For the B category, the assumption is that you can hold 3.2 to 4.0 watts per kilogram, and in the C category, it is 2.5 to 3.2, and in the D category, 2.5 or less. So everybody has somebody to race against, and you can jump right into those categories by jumping into an event on the right-hand side of the screen when you do log into Zwift, or you can jump into an event also on the Zwift mobile link on your phone. I wasn't taking the Mickey. I've only just... Oh, yeah, got you. No worries, Ricky. We really appreciate... the category, the questions, actually, Ricky White, about all of the categories. They're actually really, really appreciated. And I think Diane's just laughing just because Diane's actually a part of the D category. So she likes racing out on Zwift, and she's definitely not, there no shots fired there whatsoever. All good, Ricky. We appreciate the questions very much. Keep them coming. Scott Cunningham now with a sprint to the line with Como, as you can see here. Cunningham now 4.6 watts per kilogram. Como now 6.8, though, with a kick, but there is an aero power-up coming from Cunningham. But Como's got crazy watts here with no heart rate. I'm not sure. We'll see. With going to be an upgrade regardless, though, 4.7 watts per kilogram. But Cunningham's got 16.3 and gets it right at the line there. What an effort there. Just times it perfectly. And it will be Cunningham then with the win. 3.9 watts per kilogram. Coco now battling it out there with Innovation. Innovation from Hinton there. 3.9 watts per kilogram. Going to be taking second place out there today. We're going to move our way back here. I do believe we have McGlue from the WBR just a little ways back. We'll see if we can click through and find the riders in just a second here. G Domain here from the BRT Racers actually making his way to the line in the A category. I can't find him actually with the correct heads-up display. I think this is for maybe a top 10 in the A category. See Head now trying to make his way to the line on the Go-Go Power Rangers. Looks like Domain now almost able to pull it off, but unable to grab that wheel. McGlue should be in here somewhere, though. We're looking for him. Blomquist, part of the SDR, not a part of the race there as we move our way back. And we are seeing, it looks like, Lindsay Rupert hanging out on course. We'll give her a ride on. If you didn't recently hear an interview, great interview with her actually on the most recent Zwiftcast.com podcast. Make sure to check that out. And now we can see McGlue here making his way to the line, about 17 seconds up from S. Smith and Verhoeven. Large chase group actually in the B category here, making their way to the line for the top 10 still. A lot of top 10 results here still left for Smith, Carlson, Verhoeven, Christensen, and A. Tough, actually, who were all together for a while. Through the S's, it looks like Nussbaum and Vukamanovic trying to chase them back down, but unable to do so. 4 seconds back. McGlue's going to be able to hold them off. 300 meters to go for these riders as Verhoeven now kicks it to the line with that aero power-up. Smith going to get dropped off really quickly there. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get back with Verhoeven, who's got that super strong power-up, followed by Smith, though, who is going to be holding on to I believe 8th place today. Verhoeven going to be taking 7th. Carlson next one across the line with A. Tough here. Now battling out with Christensen. Innovation Cycles trying to get one more spot. Innovation versus innovation. But here comes Vukamanovic now out of nowhere. Innovation gets nipped at the line. And that's for a top 10, I believe. Nice result there from Vukamanovic. B. Curtis now sprinting it out just ahead of Fuller and Lamo, followed by Jiff and J. Rich. That's rounding out some of the top 20 in that B category. Lots of sprints coming to the line here with a few of these riders, as you can see, still finishing up their race, 17.2 or so miles in for Mella. In the D category, Racing TFC, I think forgot to change the name. All right, so questions coming through here. Tyler Good said, leaves you plenty of room for improvement, Tyler says to Diane. Definitely, that's awesome. Tyler Good says, wow, who kicker plus Zwift equals powerful tool to get faster. That is for sure, Tyler. Tyler, I'm with you there. Peter Stasinski says, at Z Community Live at Go Zwift, that's KISS Road Race. Wow, ultra tough race. Man, Peter Stasinski over at Twitter, thanks a lot for your comment. And man, it looked tough. It looked like one of the hardest races. Especially your heart rate was just out of control today. I'm going to see real quick here if I was able to integrate the social media. We might still have the same. Nope, same thing coming from Johnny there. So we're going to need to upgrade there. Not upgrade, but update our social media integration. For some reason, it's not coming through on our titles. I'll have to fix that for you boys and girls. But we do have the results, though. The A results, as you can see here, for the day. Thank you so much to ZwiftPower.com for providing these. As you can see, it was Tim Cartwright, followed by, I believe, Gavin Richardson, and then Peter Szerzinski. It will be Locks, followed by Webb then for the top 5. Now, again, these are provisional. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner there, provisional results today. Tim Cartwright, 194 beats per minute. 194 beats per minute coming across the line. What an effort from him. Peter Szerzinski, 187, as you can see when they came across the line. Looks like definitely a hard race for them all. Rounding out the top 10, Eric Haselstead, Steiner Rasmussen, Kyle Augustin from Innovation Cycles. Good to see those guys really showing up lately out on Zwift. Tobias, it looks like, is there as well, followed by Chris Addleton. I believe he's from Innovation as well. Solid job to the Innovation boys. Good to see them showing up in mass lately. In the B category, again, provisional results, as there will be some upgrades and some changes. Scott Cunningham, 4.0 watts per kilogram, gets an upgrade. Salvatore Como gets an upgrade at 4.7. Andrew Hilton, upgrade, B category, followed by Brian King, CocoWhip.com, AU. A little bit of a sponsor shout out, not sure. Bob McGlue there, 3.8, going to be the finisher after all the upgrades, most likely for the W, but these are provisional. We'll wait for the race organizers to make the actual decisions on it. But yep, definitely some solid efforts, and it looks like everybody's getting an upgrade there now. Harm Verhoeven then, 6th, followed by Steve Smith. Nick Carlson, Ivan Vukomanovic, and Bracken Christensen rounding out the top 10. And then you can see the rest through the top 15. In the C category, we can go ahead and bring them in. And we do see that it is going to be Colin Harrison with an upgrade, though, 3.3 watts per kilogram. Espen Solven, Sam Pratt, followed by Paul Broadman, Austin Loper, Chris Lathangu, and Lucas Huber for 7th there. Sterling Cardington Kazjan and Dennis Flatman. That's your top 10. Lots of upgrades, though, as you can see. They're just barely on the edge. A lot of people probably just getting stronger out on Zwift. That's usually the reasons that we have for those upgrades that are right on the edge like that. Or people who are newer to racing, have done FTP tests, and then jump into a race out on Zwift and get pushed way harder than they would ever push themselves all by themselves. So that's part of the awesomeness of Zwift and racing out on Zwift, is how hard it actually pushes you from your pain cave. In the D category, you can see for the provisional results as they come in here, Stewart, it looks like Churchyard, followed by David Atwood, Quentin Luntgens, and Paul Lesenby. Akadis Formula, I'm just going to say Formula. That's for the top 5. Wow, lots of D category racers today. Good to see so many showing up and racing out there and growing that category. Darren Carr, Jose Regala, Mike Louie, Maxim Lears, and R. Cross rounding out that top 10. For the women today, we do have, for our provisional results, it does look like Colleen Wade, followed by Jenny O'Neill and Sieve Ingmo. That is the women's, and as you can see, the watts per kilogram there, 3.5, 3.1, 3.2. Solid efforts there coming from these women. Nice job amongst our top 3 for the women today. So those are our results. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Now for everything that's going on Zwift Community, Zwift Community Live, we do have coverage now of the eCrit series. So make sure to be checking that out, the Australian eCrit series. That's going to be happening every Tuesday and Thursday morning. Thanks a lot to Jesper Anchor for providing that coverage, being our caster on that time of day. So if you haven't checked out the eCrit series, you're coming out of that time zone, definitely a new feature on Zwift Community Live, and there's a series of races specifically aimed at that Southern Hemisphere and the Australian area time zones in order to build up toward a final that's going to be a live event that you can qualify for by doing that eCrit series. So definitely check that out on your Zwift mobile link or Zwift.com. Lots of information as well as on the events. Really easy to find over at Zwift Community, Zwift.com/events. If you're looking for more broadcasts from Zwift Community Live, the best way to find our broadcasts is by going to our Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live and following us over there. You will get notifications sent directly to your email every time that we go live. We are live over there right now, as well as on Zwift's Facebook. You can also follow us on Facebook, obviously, for updates, as well as on Twitter. Facebook is also Zwift Community Live, and Twitter is Z Community Live, at Z Community Live. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Really appreciate all the comments. As always, great job to all the racers. Looks like you guys got amazing workouts out there today. Great results. A lot of upgrades, it looked like, so a lot of people getting stronger and stronger. And we will see you all tomorrow for the TFC, as well as tonight for Zuskana's sub 1.5 watts per kilogram women's gateway ride. So it is presented by Zwift Fitness and Zuskana. They are putting on an introductory ride to group riding. So if you would like to jump into that, it is 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, Central Time USA. So 10 p.m. Central Time USA is when it kicks off tonight. Jump into that if you are looking for an introductory ride. It's aimed at women. So if you're a woman looking to get into group riding out on Zwift and would like to jump into that at that time at night, or if you're in Australia, I think that's during the day for you over there. So you can jump on in over there and get into an introductory ride, and that is also broadcast live on Zwift Community Live. All right, great job to all the racers, and as always, ride on.